Hey everyone, and welcome to a peek behind the curtain of my work as an instructional designer. I'm really excited to share this project that I've been working on. This is a project that really allowed me to merge my passion for creating engaging learning experiences with my love for gaming. And it really wasn't about just solving a customer's problem. It was more so about transforming a challenge into an opportunity for more impactful and innovative learning. So let's just jump right into talking about the project. When I first joined the project with our enterprise customer, it was immediately clear that they were grappling with a significant challenge in their quick-based training program. Their cohorts really needed a more cohesive, engaging, and practical learning flow. And even though our trainings were inside of their existing learning flow, including our e-learning content, their virtual sessions after our trainings weren't really fully optimizing their learning, and they were finding that their users were struggling with applying the concepts learned in our courses to their actual everyday work. So the build activities that we were doing, while they were present, they did feel a bit disconnected, I guess, to that cohort based off of what their structure looked like, which was to take a training course and then for the week after that training was completed, just kind of review those concepts. Specifically, we identified several pain points that we could resolve. One of them being the strong desire to loop back to app planning after gaining hands-on quick-base experience. We only spoke about the concept of app planning at the beginning of our fundamentals course, and then once the talking portion is done for fundamentals, we move into hands-on building workshop. So that means that we're building our solutions inside of a sandbox environment, not really spending too much time on the app planning portion. And so that was a major gap in our content for our customers, really just understanding what does app planning actually look like in practice versus, in theory. So just wanted to make sure that we created some sort of content to fill in that gap for our customers. Perhaps the most critical pain points that we identified were the off weeks in their training schedule. They had a specific cohort training schedule in which they would take a training course that was led by an instructor, or they could take e-learning course. And then the week after that, they were going to actually spend using it discussing QuickBase and talking about how to accomplish certain things or how to build in QuickBase as it relates to the training that they took the week prior. The discussions that they had at that point lacked some structure and effective tools for concept reinforcement. So I approached this project strategically, and I believed in delivering quick wins. So I immediately focused on bolstering their post-training learning content. The customer specifically highlighted key courses where learners needed more reinforcement to bridge those knowledge gaps. So I prioritized those specific courses. And within a week of our initial meeting, I delivered several comprehensive question banks. Now, these weren't just simple question banks. They weren't simple quizzes. They included clear learning objectives. They included knowledge-based multiple choice questions and critical thinking and scenario-based questions. For these question banks, I meticulously crafted that content using Microsoft Word. I wanted to make sure that there was enough information there and that the instructor could come in with that question bank and have everything they need to lead conversation, answer questions during that week time period between the live trainings. As I was tackling these immediate needs, something else started to brew. I had just begun playing Baldur's Gate 3 just a few weeks prior, and the Sunday after I met the contact person for this project, this idea of choices and consequences, which is really central to that game, just kept swirling around in my brain. And then it hit me, like, why don't I just make a game out of app planning? So for anyone who's ever worked with databases, projects, or any structured process, you know that planning is the gold standard. It minimizes pitfalls, it saves resources, and it's the foundation for success. Yet, time and again, we've all been there, even myself, I've seen builders skip this crucial step at QuickBase. And maybe it feels like a chore, or maybe they just don't have the information, they don't know how, or possibly they feel like it's unnecessary, which I can admit I'm guilty of. I get it. There's an undeniable excitement in diving straight into building your own custom code-free solution. However, there are very real consequences to not planning effectively. So I wanted to create a safe and engaging environment where builders could experience the impact of their decisions in the app development process without the real-world repercussions. So I really dove in with this, and I embarked on a journey to create this unique learning experience. My first step was to visually map out the entire app planning process. So for this, I did turn to Lucid, thank you Lucid, and I used their wireframing to really map out the game's intricate scenes and the branched scenarios. Now, I knew that it would be a decision-based experience, so I strategically interspersed knowledge-based questions throughout the experience so that I could build upon scenarios around the end user's choices and their corresponding consequences. So what makes this course truly stand out is dual nature. It's not just a game. It also is seamlessly integrating hands-on activities within the correct progression path. So as learners are navigating the game, they do have opportunities to actively plan and build an app from scratch. By creating data models, they can also create swim lane diagrams and eventually an entire application with clearly outlined requirements waiting for them at the end of that path. Now, all of the visual content that I used to create the game itself was brought to life using Vyond. And finally, the entire experience from the game's logic to the knowledge check questions and the build activities were housed and built within Brainstorm. This direct approach really just tackled the challenge of having misaligned build activities and really provides the specific guidance that I think the learners will need. From ideation to completion, all of the build activities and resources and the scenarios, all of that content took me just under 2 weeks to create, and I'm genuinely thrilled with that timeline because I had anticipated a much longer development period. All in all, I would say creating this game was an incredibly rewarding experience. As a lifelong learner and gamer and just a crafty person in general, it was a really beautiful convergence of my passions, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to merge my love for video games with my desire to create these awesome learning experiences. The course just recently dropped, so I am eagerly awaiting the feedback from our builders. My sincere hope is that this game is not only fun for them, but it's also useful and empowers them to take initiative in crafting well-planned, quick-based solutions. This project was definitely more than just a task. I thought about it every day, all day. It was a journey of innovation, just pushing myself to problem solve and think creatively in my design. And it showcases my commitment to building learning experiences that are not only informative, but are also just genuinely captivating and effective. So thank you for making it this far and for joining me on this incredible journey.